Good afternoon, everyone. This is Rick Levine from UniformMarket and Sellers Commerce. Thank you for joining us today for another in our series of webinars related to your online stores. Today, in particular, we're going to focus on product data. We have a particular emphasis in our world on product data. It is a key component of the solution that UniformMarket and Sellers Commerce offers to the uniform footwear and gear industry. We will be talking today for the next 30 to 40 minutes, pretty much exclusively though, about the Sellers Commerce platform. The data management issues that reside in e-commerce platforms are pretty unique to each of the setups that you have for different stores. The software can vary, the way that you get products in and out of your system can vary, so hopefully those of you that are on the Sellers Commerce platform will benefit from today's explanation of how the data arrives and is processed and you manage it. For those of you that aren't on the platform, you'll benefit from seeing how a contemporary tool that facilitates all of this operates, and hopefully you can apply that into your applications out there and or consider Sellers Commerce application. There is an area in the GoToWebinar where you can type in questions. We will answer those questions individually, privately back to you, and or I will say them out loud as they occur or at the end, and for everyone's benefit to hear the questions that you ask. So the agenda for today will be as follows. I'll give you a quick a couple of minutes on who UniformMarket is for those of you that are not familiar. We'll talk about where the product data comes from. We'll talk about our brand syndication solution and how that goes about the process of updating the products in your stores. We'll talk about how you can select catalogs and products within your own stores. We'll talk about how you can adjust pricing. That inevitably is the biggest business rule and issue that companies deal with, but there are many bells and whistles to how products get managed in the system, pricing being one of them. Then we'll also look at the concept of how you can, even beyond the catalogs and products that are in our brand syndication, you can add your own brands and products into the system. And then we will have a more official period at the end where we can answer questions. UniformMarket operates for about 8 or 9 years now. We exclusively assist uniform footwear and gear companies, although now that we are powered by the Sellers Commerce platform, in the coming years there will be many other verticals, many other industries that we are going to be assisting. In this world, for UniformMarket, we assist companies in all of these different categories. So as you can imagine, the data that comes in, the product data, can vary greatly between what equipment for the police security industry versus fire versus scrubs for the medical side. So currently there are about 1 million SKUs in our product library. Some are updated quite often and some enter the system and almost never get updated. Such is the nature of our industry because the product remains pretty much the same year after year after year, thus being a uniform. So as part of our services here at UniformMarket, and as I mentioned, the service then specifically that we call Brand Syndication, we maintain 150 leading suppliers to the trade. And when we say maintain, we work with the manufacturer to keep the data as up to date as possible. This is a sampling of the manufacturers involved in our platform. If I bounce out here to this site here, I see more of a master list. And this page is available, everyone, under Retailers Catalogs. It shows you all of the different catalogs that we are maintaining. It shows you the last time that the catalog was updated, what the pricing level is like. You can even then click to browse the catalog and see what the catalog would look like if you chose to load that onto your website. As you can see, there's also a variety within here across all of the market segments that we were looking at, from police to EMS to hospitality, chef, as well as a mixture of distributors versus manufacturers. As you all know in your own experiences managing data in your businesses and on your websites, the delicate balance between taking data feeds, taking the information from a distributor versus directly from the manufacturer, can be tricky. So when you're looking at how to get over that data overload effect, you should look for a solution that allows you to pick and choose from within each of these. So you're never faced with, hopefully never faced with, an all or nothing situation where you have to take all of the data versus your interest in perhaps only selling some items from one manufacturer versus another. So I am bouncing around because those were just some details that we will get to in later slides as well, but wanted to entertain you while I randomly slid through the list of participating suppliers. Let's go look back at our slides. So that is the second element of who UniformMarket is, the first being that we build these online stores. We host them, provide all of the software. The second then is where all of this data comes from. When we started the UniformMarket services, predominantly what we were hearing from industry members was the biggest challenge for them in maintaining their online store was that they ordered 50 products from 50 different companies. They sold 50 products from 50 different companies. Some of you might even be laughing at my statement and saying to yourself, no, we sell 50 products from 500 different companies. So maintaining all of that data is challenging enough in your ERP systems and in your point of sale systems, where that data is not even exposed to your shoppers, to your customers. When you think about gathering and maintaining all of that data to be displayed on a website where the information will be critical and the presentation of it needs to be accurate and the visuals, that is an overwhelming task. And that is the business issue, problem that UniformMarket and Sellers Commerce present to you, to the industry, in the form of this brand syndication. So where does this data come from then? As we've mentioned, that the manufacturers and the distributors are providing the data directly to UniformMarket. UniformMarket, and how are those manufacturers chosen? That big long list that we were looking at, they come in a number of forms over the years. A retailer, someone using our platform, may invite a manufacturer to join the program because they came on to our system and they selected 25 different catalogs to load onto their store, or 5 catalogs or 50 catalogs, and then they see that there are others that are important suppliers to them, so they invite that manufacturer to join. Or the manufacturer has heard about us and then they come to us and want to join, or we're just hearing the manufacturer mentioned from retailers and we contact them directly to invite them to join the program. So that's a bit of where manufacturers and distributors come from. Once they are on the platform, 150 of them currently, as you can imagine, the data comes inbound, because I'm sure you experience this in your own businesses. The data comes in many different formats. We get it in raw formats, we get it in unstructured formats, we receive the data in, on the other hand, we receive it in some cases in very sophisticated feeds, where everything is very neatly organized and allows us to very easily update their world of SKUs on a regular basis. The first thing we do is we organize the data, we scrub the data, and then we build what we call a catalog viewer. This is an example here of the 511 tactical one. This was in our UniformMarket platform. Now in our Sellers Commerce platform, I'm going to show you how that looks. So in other words, this is the catalog viewer, for example, for 511 Tactical. So 511 Tactical is able to see this, to vet it, to work with UniformMarket and all of our mutual customers, the retailers, to vet the data, to say, yes, this is the way it should be organized. Both the manufacturer and the retailer in our world provide feedback on a almost daily basis for various catalogs, and data is then refined as we go. It becomes a community effort. But this same version of the catalog right here is the one that then gets syndicated out to a website. So for instance, this website on our platform is Las Vegas Tactical. Las Vegas Tactical has many brands on the website, but if I click straight onto 511 Tactical right here, you will appreciate then that it matches over here what was happening in the brand syndicated version over here. So every month, this one is updated monthly. Every month, this entire set of, I don't know, 50,000 SKUs is updated and is updated on this website. This is not to prevent the retailer, though, from taking this data and doing their own thing with it. The ability to then create custom categories. Looks like this retailer happens to be using some categories still straight from the manufacturer, but you can easily create categories that are unique onto your website directly, create your own landing pages, all of that. But that's more about our content management system. My apologies, we're going to keep it just about data. Although it relates, because in today's e-commerce world, what you want to do is find a solution that will offer you the benefits of both worlds. Where can you get a data syndication or a data feed? Where can you have a support operation that helps you keep the data in bulk up to date, or as up to date as humanly possible, but then at the same time give you the flexibility to change out, to customize, to reroute, to rename, to lock and change, to manage your own data above and beyond what is being provided to you. So UniformMarket may not be the only one out there that feeds data. If you're in the promotional products industry, if you're in other industries, you're familiar with these types of solutions as well. And you want to be sure, though, that the tools that are available to you allow you the flexibility to accept that data feed, manipulate it, as well as put in your own data and content on a regular basis. So that is the catalog viewer that we were just looking at. The manufacturers and retailers view it when the products are updated, when a category is updated, when a SKU is updated. That can be published by itself, or the entire catalog can be republished and syndicated out, and then it updates everybody's websites. That is where the product data comes from. So I actually talked a little bit about this already, but brand syndication happens that every time a product or a category or a catalog is updated, your website is updated. As we mentioned also, that the manufacturers can update it directly themselves. Some provide the data to UniformMarket, and UniformMarket makes the changes on their behalf. There actually is a bit of a third category, which is the manufacturer or the distributor is not all that actively involved, and perhaps a few key retailers on our platform are feeding UniformMarket and Sellers Commerce the data on behalf of the manufacturer, and then that is how the data is getting updated on a regular basis. It's all with the manufacturer and the distributor's cooperation, though, and support. A retailer's website is updated right away from this data then. It will add in new products. It will take out the discontinued products. It will update the pricing. It will freshen up your images. So the manufacturers, if there are any manufacturers on the webinar today. I'd like to quickly show you that. So, for example, a manufacturer in their supplier admin area, so this is a demo version that we keyed up to 511 fictitiously here. So you'll see in this demo version that the manufacturer will be able to go in and they'll be able to see their activity. They'll be able to see who has requested the catalog loaded on their website and approve them or not approve them, or just approve everyone. Some operate that way. They can go in and view the products and edit them. So for instance, as a manufacturer, I can then syndicate my products on the platform out to retailers, and then if I wanted to update this flashlight or this flashlight, I could click here, I could edit it, and then I could republish just this one product, or I could hit publish entire catalog, and it sends all this information out. I can track the MSRP, I can track the map pricing, I can create and assign it to categories, and then all of this good work with their marketing efforts and their images, as the manufacturers keep this information up to date and change it, then that you as a retailer benefit by receiving these updates on a regular basis. So that is a little bit about the manufacturer's admin area and how the manufacturer provides the data, how the data gets updated, and how the data can be syndicated into your retail store. And then just at a quick high level, some of the items that you're going to benefit from that brand syndication, or some of the ways that you're going to benefit. So as a retailer then, that was the manufacturer's perspective, but as a retailer then, how do you manage your catalogs and products yourself? In the Seller's Commerce platform, everything is self-service. So for this slide, I walked you through a what if. You would just log into your admin. You would browse over to products suppliers. You would select a brand, and then you would either subscribe to the entire catalog, or you could subscribe to just some of those products. Now let's just go look at that in the real world. So for example, I'm going to go to this one over here. And so in this case, this is a demo store for a retailer. So this is the admin area for a retailer. So I'm going to use my login. And once I am logged in, I can then start to manage all kinds of things about my online store. I can go to products, which is what we're discussing today, and I can go down here to suppliers. Once I'm in suppliers, I see manufacturers that I've already opted into the brand syndication on. Notice how here's a few that are listed. I was approved. I can edit that feed. In this case here, I tried to opt into a new one, A+ Career Apparel. The manufacturer requires authorization. Some do, some don't. And in this case, they do, so it's showing as a pending status until that manufacturer approves my request. And again, that request then as a manufacturer is approved over here in the Catalogs Request area. So as a retailer, though, I can also then go and say, well, I want to add a new supplier. So I go here, and it's now calling up the list and building a menu of suppliers for me, and it updates it as suppliers come and go from the platform as well. And then once available, I can scroll it, I can search it, but let's take, for instance, so Carhartt or Charles River Apparel. Not sure what's available here. Let's see, Charles River, and then I click here, and then it unfolds all of the categories, because I can say, well, I like to order from Charles River, but but I don't get polo shirts from them for whatever reason, or I don't buy my high-vis apparel from them. So I could be unchecking certain ones, and then when I want to subscribe to the catalog, I simply say subscribe to partial catalog, not the full catalog. And if I subscribe to the partial catalog, then it won't load new products as they come in, because, as we've said, the business purpose for my business when I order from Charles River is that I have specific items I like to buy from them. I don't want to show my customers everything. You can even go then down to a product level. So, for instance, well, I'm not going to sell kids wear on the site, and as far as the big and tall, I'm going to click on it, and I don't sell all of this big and tall, so I'm going to uncheck the things that I don't sell for whatever reason. So you can be very specific about the products that you want syndicated. So again, this was how we go to our admin area as a retailer. We go to suppliers. We can pick and choose the supplier that we want to opt in to their brand syndication. We can select some or all of their products and then subscribe to the catalog, and then it's syndicated to us. And we can also go back and edit that at any time. So subscribe to some of the products. That will keep the focus on just what you want to sell. This particularly over the years has become critical. Those of you that distribute multiple sportswear lines. So for example, if you order from Alpha Broder and Sanmar and Bodek, then you're all too familiar with the experience that there is product duplication, there's product overlap, multiple Fruit of the Loom styles, but they're the same styles across all the distributors. So how do you deal with that when you're getting a data feed from all three of them, because there are some things you like to buy from one distributor versus another distributor? This is the way then that can be nicely managed from within the admin area. You go here and you say, for this one, I'm not going to get Hanes. Let's go pick on Sanmar, for instance. So if I go to Sanmar, and I say view the catalog, then I can say, well, from Sanmar, I'm not getting Fruit of the Loom because I get that one from Alpha or S&S, or I order it directly from Fruit of the Loom. Who knows? So that's another example of when you're thinking about this data overload and the headache of dealing with all of this data, you want to consider tools that will allow you to mix and match and as easily as possible keep that data as up to date as possible. That is how you select catalogs and products from within the platform. How do you adjust pricing? As a retailer, you can set the pricing at a brand level. You can set that at a catalog level for MAP. You can set it for MSRP, or you can do a calculated selling price based on one of those. Let's and then let me explain this one too, and then we'll go take a look at both of these examples. So this is pricing at a catalog level, which we're going to look at. Okay. Then you also have the option of, and I like to use Sanmar again in this example. If you sell Sanmar, you're very familiar with the K500. K500 is one of their, if not their top polo that they sell. So you may say, well, I don't want Sanmar or UniformMarket or anyone to mess with my K500. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to lock that product. I'm going to make it custom just to me. So first you subscribe to the product. It gets loaded into your store. Then you lock it, and then you can take over that product. And you can change the pricing. You can change the descriptions. You can make it completely your own, and we will never touch it again. So there is another example where you get the best of both worlds. We'll at least get you the initial picture of that product, the generic version, the manufacturer's base version of that product loaded in by you selecting it into your brand syndication. Then you can lock it and take over and say, thank you very much. Now I'm going to control this product from now on. Let's go take a look. So again, we are in now a retailer admin area. And when I logged in, I first got here to my dashboard. I then went to Products, Suppliers, and from here we said here are ones that we've already opted into. We're already getting this brand syndication. So I can go over to White Swan, for example, and click Edit, and then I can say, well, I want to set the price just at 0 below MSRP, so that basically is MSRP. Or I want it to be 5% below MSRP, or I want it to be 5% above MAP pricing. So that's a very nice way that you can manage the pricing at a catalog level. Another really nice feature regarding pricing on your products is handling costs can be set at a supplier level. So what does that mean? That means that certain brands you hesitate possibly to put on your website because people will order just onesie twosies and you lose money on your handling of that order and the shipping. So what you can do is for this supplier, for White Swan, I could say, you know, always add $2 to the shipping cost. That way I know I'm covered when somebody orders a White Swan product. And then others you could do based on a percentage. Other suppliers you could just say, no, don't charge anything extra. That's just a nice feature that we've discovered over the years, and in our new Sellers Commerce platform, we've layered in to help solve the unique business problems of products and pricing and shipping. The supplier info here, their address, and then the settings. And then we manage the actual products for the supplier, again, by going into this area. This is really just related to managing your settings for that supplier once you've opted into their products. Now we're going to look at actual products. So if I go to View Products, and let's see if my K500 is in here. Okay, so I typed in K500, and as you can see from demos, I've even made copies of the K500 and shown how to manipulate it in other demos. And as you can see, when I made a copy of the product, now that is different than locking the product, but when I made a copy of the product, as you can see, it is not subscribed. So this K500P for the Port Authority Tall one is subscribed, it's active, so that means that this product will be updated by UniformMarket on your behalf. The pricing rules can get adjusted at the SanMar level. I can also go in and say, as we discussed, I want to lock it. There's two different types of locks in the system, actually. There's a hard lock and a soft lock. The soft lock will allow you to adjust some things in the product while leaving others alone. And pricing actually is not one of the items that it will unlock for you. If you want to handle pricing on your own, what you do is a hard lock, and then you can go in now and start adjusting everything. So notice how it now opened up all of these fields for me to start editing and manipulating. I can go into options, I can get rid of sizes and colors I don't want, I could change out items. So that is an important ingredient where you can opt into a data feed and say, these are the 500 items from this company that I just want in there, so just in case somebody wants to search and browse it, that's great, but I want to take these 25 items that I sell all the time and I'm going to lock them and I'm going to control them and always know that the product data is what I want it to be and the description will be what I want it to be, all of that good effort that would allow you to customize the product to be completely unique to your store instead of the standard way that SanMar might deliver this product to every retailer. So we recommend that for some, if not all, of your top sellers. It's a good idea. So that is making certain products custom, adjusting all the pricing. We will never overwrite those changes once you do. you can also add and update your own products. So what we just looked at was an example of how you would manipulate the product that has come in from a data feed, but the idea that you can add your own products also exists. So regardless of the brand, you can go in and just start adding your own. Call it your own brand even. You could add an entire catalog of products using an import tool. Currently the tool is what I call a rigid format import, meaning that you would have to set up your spreadsheet to the exact specifications that the system requires, and then you can import products in bulk. Someday we may have an import tool that would allow you to do it more freely, more freehand, matching columns to fields and all that good stuff. Right now you would use the rigid format. You can also, and this is much more common of course, is just go in and add individual items. You can do it sitting on the couch. You can hire just about anyone that's comfortable using a computer and filling out a form on a website can go in and add products under your direction, or you could be doing it yourself. And then from these you can absolutely then create fresh landing pages, and those landing pages you could include some products and categories from the syndicated content that you've opted into, but you can also add in your own custom products that you've added. Mix and match everything. To add a fresh product in the system, you would go here to products, and guess which one of these we would use? Yes, you guessed right, add products. So you click on add products, and this is one product at a time, as we discussed. So this form I would fill out, and I would say, you know, Rick's new shirt. Why would you call a product that? I don't know, but and then you would just fill all this out. Supplier name can then be your own. It could just be a brand you're making up, or it could be a brand that you are adding in that is not coming from syndication, and it will appear. And then you can set the pricing. Obviously, in this case, since you are entering all of this yourself, you may not bother entering both MAP and cost and MSRP and all of that. You may just cut to the chase and say, well, I'm just going to enter, you know, my selling price. It may require something in these fields. You can just enter zeros. So as you can see, this is how you would just burn through all of this. You could add it to existing categories. You could create a new category right here, and you would go in and then create the options. You'd create the SKU, you know, and say, okay, select size, or create, you know, 10 other different criteria for the product. These are reusable, so once you created a size range, you could use that in, you know, any product that you create yourself moving forward. You can associate images, and when you associate SKUs, you'd also be able to associate images with each SKU. You can set up bulk pricing, so you could say buy between 1 and 24 of this and get it for this price, buy 25 to 99, get it for this price. You can set up those types of scenarios. Then other random data about the details of this particular product, one of which is nice is the minimum needed. So you could battle that fear of e-commerce where people are ordering just 1 or 2 items and you dread preparing the order. You can set certain products that are low price, low margin to, you know, require that you have to order 6 of these at a time. So that is an example then of creating products on the platform and doing that yourself. And we mention all of that because we would encourage any e-commerce retailer to take a look at what they sell in their businesses throughout the year, take advantage of the offerings that a company like UniformMarket has in their brand syndication setups, and then augment and supplement that with your own products that you know will be welcome on the website based on sales at your own businesses. So I think I've addressed questions as they were entered throughout, but at this point I've gone through the basics of what I wanted to discuss and how UniformMarket and Sellers Commerce help manufacturers in the uniform, footwear, and gear industry syndicate their content to participating retailers, and how retailers can accept that content, manage the content, manage the data, customize the data, as well as add in their own products, brands, and data for their purposes. So I will open it for additional questions. So one question is, can you raise all the products of a particular brand by a dollar value? Currently it's by percentage. So I believe there is a release of the platform coming up, either our 12/31 release or the end of Q1 2015, that will then also allow for a dollar value adjustment. I think it's Q1. I know at the end of we're also adding in the ability to round, because that's a logical follow-up question. So you may be able to say, well, I'm going to raise the price of an entire brand by 2% or 5%, but then I want to round it to the nearest 95 or 05. And that functionality will be available in our 12/31 release at the end of the month. So that's a nice feature as well. So I'm Rick Levine, Sales and Marketing here at UniformMarket. Actually sitting in on the webinar also is Nancy Cardona, who's also on the sales team with us here. And you can reach out to either of us, and we can also run a personal demo for you or your company. If you're a current customer and you want to discuss some strategies or opportunities or how to do certain things, you can reach out to us from a sales perspective. If you have technical or other support, more production-related issues, that's of course another department you're all familiar with. Those of you that aren't on the platform and want to see a more detailed demo of other areas, please feel free to reach out to us. Someone's also asking if there is an archive for products. So you can take a product in the new platform, you can take a product offline, you can take it off web, but it doesn't take it from out of the view in your admin. So it's like an archive, but it's still within the view of your admin area. You would still see it in here. The email, so this is an unrelated question to products, but in our new platform we do have email marketing tools, and if you are a current customer and you migrate to our newer platform, which we've been demoing today, then yes, that same email tool that you have been offered in the current platform will still be available to you as is, actually. And we're also integrated in the new platform with MailChimp. The email tool we're using in the current platform is from Critical Impact. So if you've been happy with that, great, keep using it. If you wanted to check out another one, MailChimp is also a nice one. In the new platform, we are going to be loading apps on an ongoing basis. So certain functionality in the future will be available via apps. So, for instance, MailChimp, you can install as an app on the platform, and then moving forward, others will, start to come on board with different apps that can plug into the platform. There is another webinar that I did recently that also is a general tour of the Sellers Commerce platform. So if you wanted to see other areas, then this tour is recommended. It introduces you particularly to the content management system. Well, I think, do I give it the 6-second break rule, kind of like when you're making popcorn? You wait 6 seconds, and then if there's no more kernels popping, you call that batch done, right? So I thank you all so much for stopping by to listen to today's webinar on data. Who'd have thought that we could keep ourselves attentive for 40 minutes talking about data, but we did. And I thank you all for attending and participating. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to contact us, sales@uniformmarket.com or rick@uniformmarket.com, and we can answer any questions you may have. Thank you. Have a great day. Happy selling, everyone.